All right, welcome back. So we're gonna jump into example number one. We're gonna find the antiderivative by using U-substitution. So like we said before, it's very important for us to identify the inner function, what's gonna be our U. So in this case, I'm gonna look at what's inside a function, or what's a denominator, what's an exponent. In this case, the obvious one is going to be the inner function of that's inside this cubed, and we can double check that that's going to be it by looking at the derivative of it, and the derivative should be a factor outside, or a factor outside this expression, right? So if you notice, the derivative of x to the 7 is 7x to the 6. The derivative of negative 8 will be 0, so in other words 7x to the 6, right? So if you see here, that's it. That's in there. So we can kind of maybe highlight it there, and so we can just see that. But the important thing is to identify what is the correct U. And sometimes I'm gonna say this, but sometimes it's not as the fact that if you don't have this 7 there, but as long as you have the x to the 6, it should be good enough, right? So sometimes you don't actually have to have the actual 7. All right. So anyway, so let's start with U, right? So I want to have a red color here. So U is equal to x to the 7, and maybe I'll start here by rewriting it in here, just so we can see it, and we can always refer back to the original expression. So often my process, the way I kind of work with this is that I write my u here, and I said, okay, my inner function is going to be x to the 7 minus 8, and then automatically I take my derivative, right? And my derivative of this, I can think about it two different ways. So I can say, okay, my derivative of this du dx is going to be the derivative of this in respect to x. So the derivative of this is going to be 7 times x to the 6 plus 0, right? And then what I do is I could say, oh, well, I need to solve for du, so I'll just multiply both sides by dx, right? And those are gone, so we end up having du equals 7x to the 6 times dx. And that's good, and that's perfectly fine, but it's not actually too many steps that we would have to do that. The alternative here, or the most common thing to do is to actually take this derivative in respect to u. So think about that you're taking the derivative of u in respect to x, and just go ahead and take the derivative, right? 7x to the 6 plus 8, and then everything will be multiplied by dx, right? So that's actually the common thing for us to do. And we don't have to put the parentheses. Sometimes the parentheses are needed, but in this case they're not needed. So we can just go ahead and just write it like that. All right, so if you notice here, we have everything we need in order for us to convert this into u. So we see here that inside this x squared, this x to the 7 minus 8, that will turn into a u. And so we'll have u in here, and then so that's your u, and then this is exactly du, right? So perfect. It all fits perfectly in here, right? And in this case, right, we don't actually have to do any extra steps, as you guys will see. Maybe in the future we'll have to do some kind of manipulation. All right, so let's go ahead and do this. Let's take the antiderivative of this with respect to u, and the antiderivative of this with respect to u will be, using power rule, will be u add 1 to the power, and then divide by the new power plus c. So basically, the antiderivative of this is u to the 4 over 4 plus c. And also remember that we don't have to write the antiderivative here and dx here anymore. As soon as you take the antiderivative rule, right? As soon as you use it, then you are not supposed to put it there. All right, so we took the antiderivative, but the antiderivative of this is with respect to u so far. We need to go back and finally rewrite this in terms of x. So go back and replace u in with respect to x. So basically what we're saying is that the antiderivative of x to the 7 minus 8 cubed times 7x to the 60x is equal to, replace u with um, x to the 7 minus 8 to the fourth power over 4 plus c. There you go. That's all we needed to do. So we found the antiderivative. I hope you guys found this helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye.